is there any scientific evidence that he exists? We see shows where they DNA a chunk of meat, or they have a chunk of hair they snipped off a scalp in Nepal or something. Is there anything
physical evidence? I think
exactly. Is there any
as opposed
physical
to eyewitness reports?
Yeah.
Well, a geneticist, Melba Ketchum, did a study a few years ago, and she had 108 samples. I know some of the people who were involved in it. David Pilates was one of the guys involved in that, and another ex-officer close by me here was involved in it, in the Genome Project. And really, she came back with the mitochondrial DNA, which is the maternal side, is mostly human. And then you get into the nuclear DNA, which tells you what the male counterpart was, and they couldn't match them. And that's out of 220
that's strange.
billion gene bank that couldn't be matched. So her whole report was foo-fooed by the academia because they wouldn't accept that. If it's existing, it has to be in a gene bank, right?
Right.
But they're in their box, and I understand that. So I think she's going to be vindicated, to be honest with you, because you got another study that went on above Bhutan in the Himalayas, 17,000 feet. National Geographic sponsored that, and this geneticist up there, out of some eDNA, which was prints, bipedal prints from the 17,000 feet. No human had been there walking around barefoot in snow, ice. And the eDNA, a couple of years later, when she got through the study, the eDNA, or the mitochondrial DNA, was mostly human, 99% human. Couldn't identify that nuclear. So there's some corroboration, but science won't get it. They won't take that. They won't accept it because they're in a box. And I think what I try to encourage is that classical science and quantum science has to combine. They can't ever get a handle on this thing if they're going to be so close-minded they stay within the parameters that they've been disciplined in. And that's where it's at right now, I think. And I've seen these professors just say thumbs down with Melba Ketchum's report, but I think they should back up and just say, we don't know yet. And that's the best thing I think a scientist do, say, we don't know. So many of them think they got to be an ape because that's what they look like. They're running until they see one face to face, and there's a human look to them. I've talked to a lot of people that have seen them face to face, and they said they got a really human expression on their face.
Yeah, well, isn't there just an obscene large percentage of DNA that we match to chimpanzees or bonobos or one of those, where we're like 98% match? And if that's the case, I mean, apparently 2% can go a long way because
it gives us our sapiens, right?
Because I got to tell you, if you put it into just realistic terms that we can all digest, a chimp for me, undateable. And so if it's this 2% has gone to the point where, I'm not going to hang out with this thing.
You
obviously,
took that to a weird place, John.
You get where I'm going with this, though.
I
2%
but I
create such
how you made that point.
Okay. I'll bring it up in counseling, though.
But just mucking around, right?
That 2% can create such a difference that when I look at something, I say that has nothing to do with this, And so obviously these small things that they're discarding because they're not in their registry could make that massive difference that when we look at it, we say that is not this and we should run.
So the evidence you pointed to just now, it sounds like that's a major piece of support for your sort of theorizing that
if you're ready to accept it. Again, academia is not ready to accept it because it doesn't fall within their parameters, and that's too bad because they need to just be a little more open-minded.
Welcome to the radio, Wasteland. Welcome to the